Hello, everybody again. Lizzie here. I'm going to continue on with the shamanic journeys that I've experienced. So often when you start journeying in that realm, you would go on a journey to find like a power animal or whatever it is that comes to you. And this animal then would come with you on all of your journeys, and they're like a protector, and they would have certain traits, characteristics that strengthen your journeying. So they kind of bond with you. You can have more than one. Sometimes you might go on journeys and there might be a few different animals. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be your power animal, but there'll be one prominent one that comes each time when you begin the journey. So this is the story of how I found my power animal. And for me, it was a spider. So yeah, so when you do a shamanic journey, there's 3 different realms. So there's a lower realm, the middle realm, and the upper realm. And generally, to find the power animals, you would go into the lower realm. And with every journey, you always have to have a very strong intention of where you're going to go. And you might repeat that three times just to get it locked into your subconscious that that's your intention, and your intention would be to go to the lower realm to find your power animal or your spirit animal guide. And you would also have an access point. And generally this is a way that you would go into the lower realm, and often it's a familiar place that you feel safe in, like a place where you might go into nature somewhere. And then to get to the lower realm, you would go down something like a hole in the ground or down a cave. Like in this instance, I went down to my local beach where I knew there was a cave along the beach. And in real life, it doesn't go anywhere. It's just like a bit of crevice in the rocks. It's like a really small cave. But when I was going into the lower realm through this access point, it turned into like a it went deeper. So as the drum started and I'd said my intention out loud that I'm going into the lower realm to find my spirit animal, I went down into this cave, and the cave just kept going. So it was like it just changed. And so I went down. It was like the walls were wet. It was sandstone. I could rub my hands along the walls, and it was like the bedrock. And it was going down in a spiral pattern. So it was like almost turned into like a rock staircase going down. And as I went down and down, it turned into like a black tunnel of a black tunnel. And I just kept floating down and down until I rested on the bottom, which was a sandy cave floor. And in this journey, I sat cross-legged and just waited. And then a maggot appeared, and it pointed the way to go. So I was able to fly off, and I came out in like space. So I was suddenly just out in outer space. And I reached up and I took hold. There was these 2 sticks coming, like, these giant sticks. I reached up and grabbed these sticks. And what this ended up being was the legs of this giant mother spider. And once I took hold of these, she pulled me up onto her back. And so I was sitting kind of on her back. And then she took me off into space, and we were flying through space. And it was like she was telling me about how the spiders are like the weavers of the universe. And so she was telling me stories as I was on her back, and we were traveling through these dimensions. It was like going on a tour of the universe. It was quite amazing. So she was saying she's the weaver of life, and she was showing me how she weaves her web through the cosmos, which was amazing. And then I was kind of suspended, like I was just lying suspended in space. And then all these tiny spiders came. There was just hundreds and hundreds of them. They were like her babies. And they all started crawling over me, and like in these long lines crawling over me. And then my limbs started like getting longer and longer and longer, and my arms were like stretching right out, and I just was so huge. Like I became as big as the universe itself. So it was really it's quite amazing journey. Yeah, I and then we were flowing. Sorry, I'm just reading off the notes because I write down all the journeys, so I don't forget them, and write down as soon as you've finished your drum journey. So yeah, I became like this wispy, it's like spaciousness. It was like I was lots of tiny little dots spread out, wispy and floating. And then I came back to the mother spider. And then I was like, there was so much love. It was really weird, and I felt such a connection and love to this spider. And so I was then able to caress her face and look into all her eyes. And she lovingly, this does sound weird, but she lovingly then cocooned me like in web. And it was like I went into this womb space of um, being held, being cocooned and held. It was never scary or anything, but it was like this being rolled and safely held in her web. So I felt just part of the divine consciousness. It was really, really nice. And I end up giving her a big cuddle, cuddle the spider. And I wanted to, go for another ride on her back, and because she was talking to me the whole time, telling me all this knowledge about the universe. And I wanted to keep going, but then the drum called me back, and so we had to go back down out of like this universal space, this cosmos, back to the sandy cave, and then back up through the access point at the beach, out of the beach cave, and come back into the body. So yeah, and ever since, spider became my power animal. There would always be, whenever I went on a journey, my hair would be back, and the spider would sit on my, like, hold my ponytail wrapped like that. So the spider's legs was wrapped around my ponytail, and that's where she sits every time I would go on a drum journey. And then I would feel her kind of crawling down my arm, and I'd know that every time we go into a different realm, she's guiding me. She's there. She's always there, holding, hanging on my hair. She can kind of come here and whisper in my ear. And yeah, it's a really beautiful relationship. And when I looked at the characteristics of the spider, it's all about creation and destruction. So every morning, the spider will weave their web, weaving the day, weaving the dreams, weaving what's going to come into the day or the universe or whatever. And then each night, you would then take down the web, so whatever happens through the day, there might be some rips and tears in the web, but then each night you take it down and then you build a new web each day. So the next day is a new day and you would start again and rebuild. And it was a real holding of space for me. So with each circle of web that the spider would go around and around, this created this space to hold for others. So I saw that as me wanting to hold space for other people. And the other thing that really resonated was about the subtle vibrations that the webs feel. So the spider will sit on their web, and with their legs they sense any movements in the web. So the tiniest movement of a bug caught in their web sends these vibrations to the spider, and she listens with her feet. She feels the change in vibration and frequency of the wave movements of the web. And so that was for me to pay attention to the really subtle movements in a web. Yeah, just to open up my sensitivity. And also to trust in the process of life. So, you build your web each day, and then you trust, and you can be out in the middle of the web, in that center. So being centered, having that central position where you're also centered and you're alert to everything around you. Or you can come out of the web and be in hiding so that you're not exposed, you're not out for people to see, you're kind of sheltered and hidden. So yeah. The other thing, when I actually looked up the meaning of spider in the books, is about the silk thread that comes out of the spider, and that same silk thread is like for us as aspects of source, connected to source via this silver thread. So we're always connected to source, and even though we're in this earth realm having this experience, a human experience with our emotions and thoughts and brain waves and all different organs affecting us, and the density in this earth experience, that we're always connected by this silver thread, like the web from the spin effects of the spider. So yeah, that's my spider journey. And yeah, I'm really grateful to spider. I have had a few other animals come through, like at times when I've asked for something, when I've needed to go through a different journey. So one time I had a black unicorn come, and another time it was a dragon. Also, there's been like a hawk coming through, and these help me for specific things. So when I needed to go through some kind of personal initiation, I would call on an animal for guidance, and then I would do the drum journey and see who turned up and who would assist me. So yeah, I'll talk about that in another video. Okay, thank you for joining me. See you next time.